Here's a brutal stat. 99% of people in their 20s never actually beat procrastination, they just learn to live with it. Think about that. You're sitting there, telling yourself you'll start that assignment, that gym routine, that side hustle tomorrow. But tomorrow comes and suddenly it's 2 a.m. You're scrolling TikTok half asleep while your to-do list is still untouched. Sound familiar? That tiny voice that says just 5 more minutes seems harmless, but in your 20s, those 5 minutes stack into months, even years. And by the time you realize it, the decade that was supposed to set up your future has already slipped through your fingers. The scary part about procrastination is that it doesn't feel destructive in the moment. Skipping one study session, delaying one workout, putting off one job application, none of those feel life-changing, but stack them together and suddenly years are gone. In your 20s, procrastination is especially dangerous. This is the decade where habits solidify, careers launch, and identities form. Yet most people keep treating procrastination like a little annoyance instead of the silent anchor holding them back. And here's the truth, procrastination doesn't just waste time. It eats your confidence, your opportunities, and your ability to trust yourself. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," and don't follow through, your brain learns one thing, that your words don't matter. That's why so many people wake up at 30 or 40 feeling stuck, because they never beat the cycle when it mattered most. Here's the first trap almost every 20-something falls into. Dopamine loops. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, they're engineered to hijack your brain's reward system. Every swipe is a slot machine. Maybe the next video is funny, maybe it's shocking, maybe it's educational. That uncertainty is what keeps you hooked. The science? Your brain releases dopamine not when you get the reward, but when you anticipate it. That's why you check your phone 100 times a day. It's not that you're lazy, it's that your brain has been conditioned to seek tiny bursts of dopamine over long-term effort. Now, here's the killer part. Procrastination isn't about not wanting to do work, it's about your brain craving the easier dopamine hit right now. Writing that essay takes 2 hours of focus. Watching TikTok takes 2 seconds of effort. Guess which one your brain picks? And if you're in your 20s, this wiring is even stronger because your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles self-control, is still developing, meaning distractions hit you harder. But don't worry, because later in this video, we'll break down how to rewire those loops and actually make your brain crave progress instead of procrastination. The harsh truth, most people in their 20s rely on motivation to beat procrastination. They wait for the perfect mood, the coffee rush, or some random spark of inspiration. But motivation is like Wi-Fi in a dorm room, unreliable, unstable, and it cuts out right when you need it. Top students, athletes, and top CEOs don't depend on motivation, they depend on systems. A system is just a repeatable process that doesn't care how you feel. For example, setting a fixed 2-hour study block every day, no matter what, or a simple if-then rule. If it's 9 a.m., then I sit at my desk. When you don't have a system, every task becomes a negotiation with yourself. Should I start now? Should I do it later? Maybe after one video. That endless negotiation drains your willpower before you even begin. That's why 99% of people stay stuck in the loop. They confuse bursts of motivation with progress. But the ones who break free, they build systems so simple they can't fail. You know what drains more energy than running a marathon? Deciding whether to even start. When you're in your 20s, life feels like a giant menu. Should I study now or later? Gym or Netflix? Work on that project or just scroll for inspiration? Every choice feels small, but your green is paying the bill in decision fatigue. And here's the kicker. The more tired your brain gets, the easier it is to slide into procrastination. Suddenly, instead of taking one step forward, you're stuck overthinking every possible move. It's like trying to play chess against yourself. You end up staring at the board for hours and never making a move. Mentally strong people, they don't rely on willpower to decide every little thing. They build habits, routines, and boundaries so their brain doesn't waste energy debating nonsense. That way, when the important decisions come, they've got the clarity and energy to actually act. When you're in your 20s, the comfort zone is sneaky. It doesn't feel like a trap because it's safe, cozy, and socially acceptable. Netflix binging? Normal. Scrolling TikTok until 3 a.m.? Totally common. Telling yourself, "I'll start tomorrow?" Totally common. But here's the catch. Comfort doesn't mean happiness, it means stagnation. Psychologists say the brain is hardwired to conserve energy, which means it naturally pushes you towards the easiest, least painful option. That's why opening Instagram feels effortless, but opening your laptop laptop to write a paper feels like climbing Mount Everest. The more you feed this habit, the stronger it grows. Comfort becomes the default. And when comfort becomes your default, growth feels almost impossible. You start lying to yourself, "I'll work better under pressure," or "I deserve to rest before I start." In reality, you're trading short-term ease for long-term regret. Mentally strong people break this by deliberately stepping into discomfort every day. It doesn't mean going full Navy SEAL mode. It means doing the small, boring, uncomfortable actions consistently. The 1% who actually beat procrastination in their 20s don't rely on motivation, they build systems. They set up routines where the default option is progress, not delay. Instead of waiting for the right mood, they lower the friction to start. Think of it like this. The average person sits there debating whether to study, but the 1% already placed their phone in another room and opened the textbook last night. They've removed the decision-making barrier. Another thing, they don't chase perfection. They accept doing something small, even if it's messy, because momentum compounds. 10 minutes of focus today beats waiting 2 hours tomorrow for the perfect time. So while 99% of people drown in motivation videos and guilt cycles, the 1% quietly win because they've engineered their environment and mindset to make progress inevitable. And if this video helped you, hit subscribe because the next one will push you even further. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.